Alrighty, Dave here. We're going to dig into these dual turntables. I've already worked on the 1237 a bit. We'll do primarily needed some cleaning, and I'm waiting on one part, and then we can kind of give you a summary of what we've completed there. I just pulled out the 1228, and we've begun taking a look at that. I've got my manuals, I've got my YouTube videos. We did a quick check on what the current condition is, and it has some issues already without trying much. I was able to play a record, so signal path looks decent. I used a different cartridge from one of the other turntables, and we got some sound out of it. But I'll show you what we've got so far, and then we'll start working on it. All right, if you're not aware, your iPhone or Android phone has a gyroscope in it. With a gyroscope, you can do some interesting measurements of turntables. There are apps that allow you to check your RPM, calculate your wow and flutter. Does it automatically. You can adjust your pitch control and see how that works. Some of these also have databases where you can record your results before and versus after you do service. It also allows you to compare your data to other people who have uploaded the information about the same turntable. So we've done that. We've got a baseline for this turntable, and you just do that by just putting a roll of tape over the spindle and then putting your phone on top of it and hit go. This one has this turntable. First thing we found out was it has an interesting problem. It really needs a cleaning, because what I found is as soon as I plugged it in, it started running. And let me do that right now. So there, I just plugged it in and everything starts up. So that's not as it should be. Our lever is difficult to move into the different positions. You can start getting different modes of operation, but then it doesn't complete that mode. So that's worth noting. Here you can see we're not making it back to the neutral position. And then the turntable just keeps running anyway. So we can do speed changes, and I'm not sure that's having much of an effect. So I think we've got a few issues, primarily related to cleaning and lubrication. I'm going to pull the plug on this, and then we'll start taking it apart. We'll show you a bit more. I'll apologize ahead of time if I end up bumping the tripod here. It's difficult to get my hands and body in here and work at the same time and give you guys a good look. So first thing we're going to do is lock this up. I think let's go ahead and, the other thing I see is that the turntable is sitting on the base. So it's not, maybe this back corner suspended a little bit, but I suspect we have a problem with the base as well. So let's loosen this up, make sure it's free to move, which it now is. And we've got to pull the wires all the way through the base. I'll do that off camera, but here you can see some of the problems. This base is made of masonite, and so here you can see one of the mounting, no, you can't see. This mounting spring right here is supposed to sit in this pocket, which has been damaged, and so it's not providing the appropriate spring force, right? It should look more like that one back there, which that one is a bit compromised as well. And one over in this corner, they're sagging. The masonite just is not rigid enough, so we're probably going to have to do some reinforcement of that to get that to work correctly. First thing we're going to do here is platter removal. So you take the spindle. There is a little retaining clip in here. You need a pokey or something to get in and remove that clip, and it will fly, so be careful as you're removing it. Work your way around. There's the clip. And we need a bin for parts, so let that process begin. There's our platter. Yes, so this is, here you can see all our speed indicators. So there's an LED, actually it's a little bulb which illuminates these speed indicators, and through a series of mirrors and prisms there's a window which allows you to do your speed adjustment. So all nicely built in. Nice feature. Made in Germany platter. Got all the part numbers molded right into the aluminum casting. And I can already see and feel that we've got quite a bit of cleaning to do. Everything feels sticky and tacky. So here's the famous idler wheel. Not really moving as freely as I'd like to see, so we've got some work to do on that. The edge of it seems to be in decent shape. We may, and still seems fairly soft and rubbery, so that's a good thing. Here's the motor spindle, and that's got some buildup of crud on it, so we'll do a good job cleaning that. Let's do a flip. And so I've just got some bubble wrap here. Just make sure we're not causing a problem with the tone arm. Give that a little place to nest. Give you all a chance to look at what we found here. So let me get right in. You can see a little bit better. We've got some fairly significant grease and crud buildup in this area. Feeling the mechanisms. I'm seeing a lot of grease and crud buildup here. In this area, these things should all be sliding. The changer mechanism is totally frozen. I'm not seeing any. There's motion there, but not much. So all of this is going to require a significant amount of cleaning, and then we'll re-lube it after the cleaning's done. Take the motor cap off. There's a sintered powdered metal bearing in there which needs to be lubricated. The main cam, we'll clean all that up, and then we'll re-lubricate that. Basically anything that moves or pivots other than around that idler wheel is going to have to be lubricated. All these mechanisms here. This is your skating adjustment. Stuart pimple is missing, so I've ordered a variety of those. But we just need to do a lot of cleaning here. That's what we're going to spend the next probably hour doing. But what we've done is we've done a full cleaning. We've removed all the dried grease and oils that we could find. Every pivot point, every sliding point, pulled E-ring clips, removed pins and screws, and worked our Q-tips and paper towels and small little picks, getting all that grease off with alcohol. Then to properly re-lube, and there's probably 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, we'll just call the cam 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. You know, there's probably 25 areas down here. Every mechanism, anything that moves has been cleaned.
I thought I'd show you the pile of trash you end up with after completing all that cleaning.
Then we have to lube, and I'm using 3 different lubes. I'm using standard 3-in-1 oil on the motor bushing, and that's I think that's actually on this one, that is the only natural oil that I have used, because that's the only place I found a need. Otherwise, I've switched over to silicones and synthetic. So any rotating part, I'm just using your standard 3-in-1 silicone. So that's a pin where a pin and a part rotate around each other, no sliding motion, just rotating motion. That's a pin. Everywhere else, I'm using your standard synthetic super lube, which is the thicker lube. So you're using that on all the sliding parts, anywhere where two metal parts are going to slide against each other. Inside all the cam and the cam follower, that's synthetic. Over here on the speed fine adjustment, that's also got some sliding parts. So that's all super lube. So rotating parts, silicone; sliding parts, super lube. And then because of the sintered powdered metal bearing, I've used natural traditional 3-in-1 oil. It's a petroleum-based oil, and that will properly penetrate in. I did find that I'm going to make an adjustment to the start-stop mechanism, because I see in the, when this is when it's perfectly aligned in the neutral position, I know that I can see that the lever's not where it should be. So let me come around here so you can see that a little better. All right, here's the start-stop lever. It's in the neutral position, so the lever itself should be over here. It's off a little bit, so I'll loosen this nut and move that over so we get that lined up. And I think otherwise we're ready for a complete test. I did have quite a bit of difficulty getting the mechanism here, which is the center pin for the record stacker, the automatic changer that drops the subsequent records. That was bound up really tight. So I've got that now to the point where the spring can do its job, and that's loosened the way it should be. So you can see there's a little retaining spring here, and that pulls it back to the neutral position. And it wasn't doing that at all. So I think otherwise we're ready to give it a go. I'm going to end up taking it apart again, because we're going to have to fix the base, the platform still. But I just want to make sure everything else is ready. I do not yet, still don't have the Stuart pimples, which mount right to this pin right here. I'm waiting for that for the 1037 as well. And this is what allows your tone arm to be brought over and brought back into the working position with the mechanism. And that's missing here. So that's essentially something that you would consider a consumable. There are a couple of items under the platter that do also need to be oiled, but there's only a couple. You can see those in the manual. Fairly straightforward. All right, I wanted to show you, and you won't be able to see this quite the way I intended, but because it's hard to control the focus point. There's our speed control indicator window, and I can see that there's a small bump on once every platter revolution. So I'm going to pull the platter and take a look at that more clearly. And I don't think it's a flat spot. I think there might be just a little piece of contamination there. We've also got our alignment of our start-stop lever is now good. I've completed that. You'll notice that the unit, it's plugged in, but it's not running. So through our cleaning process, we were able to clean that up. Our 4533 adjustment works fine. We can't do a full automated start or an automated stop because we're still missing the pimple. I did set the tracking force, got the pitch control the way we want it, but we did see that little bump in there, and I think I'm going to have to check that again. So other than that, we can now work on, I'm going to take it apart again, and we'll clean up the case, the base, and fix the mounting. You can see we still don't have the right mounting for it, but we're making progress. All right, I thought we were going to find some schmutz or something on the surface of the platter here where the idler wheel rolls, but you can see that's not what it is. The blip that we saw on the one revolution is actually this wrinkle in the label. It's basically a sticker on the underside of the platter, and the sticker has a wrinkle, and the wrinkle has lost some of its colorings, and so that makes it look, when the platter's rotating and you're looking through the window, you can actually see this, and it makes it look like a blip, but it's really just a blip in the label. It's not a physical blip. So I'm actually going to try to touch that up with a Sharpie and see if we can take care of that also. Okay, we've done the repairs that we need to do, and we're going to clean it up now. So I just wanted to show you what we've done. I reinforced all the weak areas and with Gorilla Glue and some super glue on around all the edges. That really stiffens up these edges and prevents swelling from moisture. So because the Gorilla Glue expands, we can now sand and form it. Now this area where there was some missing masonite, we've put a repair patch in there, double thickness, and we'll have to file that out with a big rat tail file. This one was reinforced similarly, and I've already sanded that, so it's much more rigid now, and it should not swell and degrade now. So we'll show you this. We'll get it finished and maybe put a picture up of what it looks like when it's all sanded. Then we're going to repaint. We'll tape off the wood, repaint it, and then we'll do a recoating on the walnut as well. We have the last piece of the pie has arrived in the mail. Our Stuart pimple, which I believe is something like drive pin, control pin, something along that line. If you're going to work on dual turntables, or if you have dual turntable, you're going to need these eventually. So I have purchased a set, a bunch of them, and it goes right here, right on the end of this little pin, which is on the tone arm drive plate, and it uses friction, and motion is controlled by the underside of this plate. So you want to make sure the underside of this black plastic arm is clean, and the pimple is going to go right on top of this pin. So it's got a hollow in one end, and we're just going to install it, and it should give us all the proper motion control we need. Then we're down to dust cover. All right, that's all there is to it. It's a spring-loaded pin, and we've pushed the Stuart pimple down completely. And now, as that is engaging with this this fixed arm, we'll either have motion or no motion as necessary. And let's put it all back together, and we'll demonstrate that. Okay, we're ready to go. Let's do an auto start. Just move our lever over. Our tone arm now is moving smoothly. Drops in the right place. I'll have to make sure we don't get a copy protection error. We get a little music coming. There it is. Then I'm going to advance to the end of the record. Make sure we get close to the end. Oh, got too far. Pushed it a little too far, and you see the auto return happens, and it will now shut off. There it goes. So this lever isn't quite returning to the center position. So I'll do one more tweak on that. But I think we have full operation now. The final piece of the puzzle for this Dual 1228 has been completed, and that is a new dust cover. I learned how to make them. In fact, I've made 4 so far, and I think it's probably worthy of a future video. I'm going to show you the tools you need, and it's not much. You need plexiglass, a plexiglass cutter, acrylic plexiglass. You need a syringe, you need some special adhesive, which you can buy on Amazon, and a propane torch, and a piece of sandpaper. If you have that, you can make custom dust covers like this for any turntable, and it's very straightforward. It shocked me how simple it was, and you know, I went looking for dust covers, and I found custom ones online for 150 bucks a pop, and that doesn't fit my style. So this 1228's done. I also made one for the 1237. I made one for the 1215S as well, and they're beautiful. So I think let's take a look at the whole fleet now, and then that'll wrap up this video. Let's take a final look at our new fleet of, new to me at least, and hopefully some point new to some folks that would love to have a nice dual turntable. 1237, here we've got the 1019, the 1228, this is the one we did our details on, and then the 1215S. So each one of these is a bit unique in its own way, slightly different features. Obviously this one comes with the changer. Therefore I made a taller dust cover for that one, and runs beautifully. You know, we can advance to the end here a little bit, and you'll see the auto stop runs out just as it should. The 1228, obviously this is the one we spent. I did end up spending the most time on this one too, because it needed the most. I ended up getting an Audio-Technica cartridge. So there's the auto stop on that. That's running beautifully. I did end up centering the shut-off lever as well, or the function lever. So that's looking good. The 1019, I've got to investigate pricing on these as well, because I think there's quite a variety. The 1019 is the auto stop feature for that. The 1019 had the original smoked dust cover, and smoked acrylic is available, just not at my local Home Depot. So that is something that I need to find out if I'm going to consider doing smoked dust covers, but I haven't done that yet. Here's the 1237, and that did not have a changer, so I made a shorter cover for that. Same on the 1228, but this one's really nice, and I do appreciate the simplicity of this one as well. But they're all tuned. Skating force, tracking force, all done. One final note. The 1019 is a beast, and just that platter. That's why this one will run for 3, 4, 5 minutes after it shuts off, because the platter has so much inertia to it, and it's the bearings are really nice on it also. So that's probably part of why it's so highly regarded. But we'll do a little investigation and get these up on Facebook Marketplace. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something. Look forward to our future videos as well. And if you enjoyed it, please like the video and consider subscribing to New to You Speakers. Thanks a lot. Bye now.